One theme that you're going to hear me come back to throughout the next several, I don't know how many, but the next couple weekly 50 photos is that of how to capture the grandness of nature with the limitations of a Fuji X100F camera. Last week, I had a picture of Chimney Rock that was actually pretty similar in terms of compositional elements to what you see here. It was a natural large feature or formation in the background with a lot of greenery in the foreground and the sky above. Like, this is in many ways, I don't know, it's pretty similar to last week's photo, but there's an interesting notable exception. The way I composed this is totally different. Last week, I had Chimney Rock, and I don't want to say everybody, but a lot of people know what Chimney Rock is. It's one of those natural features. I guess I could compare it to an unnatural feature, the Gateway Arch in St. Louis. If you saw a picture of that, especially with the buildings behind it, you would have this intuitive sense of, oh, this thing's really big. Chimney Rock is kind of like that. You look at it, you look at a picture, and I would say that's a bit of a generalization, but most people would probably understand, like, okay, that thing's pretty big. I understand how big this scene is that I'm looking at. Here was not the case at all. This is Agate fossil beds up the road, I think maybe the next day or 2 days later after Chimney Rock. And you're looking at a fossil bed here in the background, but without a sense of what this is, it's hard to have a sense of scale. Like, how do you know how big this is? How do you know how big the scenery is? So I tried something a little different in that I focused on this flower in the foreground, this one among many, and maybe it would have been better if there was a bunch more, or if there were fewer flowers. Maybe it's not so good that there are so many flowers. I'm not sure. And my goal here, I don't know if it worked. My goal was to draw your eye to this flower in the foreground and use that to kind of place yourself in the scene and know that, okay, I understand how big this flower is, and I can see these other flowers receding into the background, and that gives me a sense of how big this thing back there really is and a sense of scale and perspective. I don't know if it worked out because that flower in the foreground doesn't immediately draw your eye. If you see this photo as you're scrolling through your phone, I don't even know. Do you notice the flower? I so rarely look at these on my phone. I just don't know. I do all this on a computer, on a laptop, desktop. In fact, mostly I do these on a big old 24 or 27-inch monitor at home. But I don't think I quite got what I was hoping for. I shot this at f8, and I wanted to get the foreground nice and sharp and the background a little blurry. I think the background is actually a little too blurry. I didn't want to spend all day taking a photo. I only spent a few minutes doing this. So maybe there's something I could do differently if I'm in this situation again. It was fun to do this, and I enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed the photo. Really curious what you thought of Agate fossil beds if you've ever been there. And there's more to come, so stay tuned for more nature photos of our trip out west.